right, this is the second part of Module 2, Section 1 for Reveal Algebra 2. If you have yet to watch the first video, you can go back and do so. The second video here, we're going to focus on solving linear inequalities. And so first, what is an inequality and how do we solve it? And so at the top here, you have A is less than B, A equals B, and A is greater than B. And it says exactly one of the following statements is true for all two real numbers. All right, so if I just plug in 2 and 3, 2 is less than 3. 2 is not equal to 3. 2 is not greater than 3. So if I just pick two random numbers, one of those is always going to be true. Right. Always important to remind people, Pac-Man eats the bigger thing, or the alligator eats the bigger thing. And so B is the big one in this equation, or this inequality rather. A is the big one in this inequality over here. If it has the bar underneath of it, all right, then it's on an or equal to, because it's like the bottom half of the equal sign. All right, so to me, it's less than, or equal to, greater than, or equal to, greater than. This also counts as an inequality, not going to be a big part of our lesson today, but that would be not equal to. And so this note here is important. You're going to just basically pretend like you have an equal sign, solve the problem exactly like you would if you have an equal sign. The only difference is right here. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, then you have to flip the sign. It doesn't matter if it's or equal to or not. If it's got a less than or greater than sign, you have to flip it. So let's look at this first example. 5a plus 7 is less than or equal to 32. Let's not worry about the less than or equal to. Let's just solve it like we would. We'll minus 7 to both sides. I get 5a. I would say equals 25, but I'm not going to change the sign. So I'm just going to leave the sign the same. And I'm going to divide by 5. And divide by 5. I get a. And I would say equals 25 divided by 5 is 5, but I'm not going to say equals. I'm going to leave the sign the same. I didn't multiply or divide by a negative, and so I am done, and this is my answer. Let's look at another one. Down here, to get z by itself, I have to undo division. The opposite of division is multiplication, so I'm going to multiply by negative 3. On the one side, that leaves just z. On 4 times negative 3 side, that gives me negative 12. Because it's a negative number, this is negative 3, I have to flip the sign. And so z is less than negative 12. The book's first example, obviously, is a little bit harder. We'll dive right into it here. All right. The first thing I would do from both sides is minus 12.9. That gives me negative 5.6n dropping down. Drop the sign down. Now, even though that looks like it's a negative, I'm just subtracting. So I didn't multiply or divide by a negative. Right? Take a calculator if you need to. Figure out what that would work out to. I think it's going to work out to negative 84. Right? Divide both sides now by negative 5.6. Divide by negative 5.6. I want to grab my calculator. I want to do negative 84 divided by negative 5.6. I get positive 15. And so I have n. Over here I have 15. Now I did divide by a negative, and so I must flip the sign. And so now it is n is less than or equal to 15. Now these ones and the ones on your homework today are going to have a second part. It's going to say graph it on a number line. Graphing on a number line is super easy as long as you make sure the variable is over here. And so if you've got an answer that was like this, I'll put it in green up here. If you had 15, all right, like this, then you would want to rewrite it with the n or variable on the left. Right? The sign was eating 15, and so it's still eating 15. So the sign stays eating. Pac-Man stays eating because he's hungry, whatever he was eating before you flipped it. Now, again, I said making a number line is easy. You just draw a number line, put the number you're talking about in the middle, so 15. Now, if you really want to be awesome with it, you can show me where you know where bigger and smaller is. All right. And then I'm going to put a circle right here at 15. Now, the only hard part is if it is or equal to. So if it's less than or greater than, it's an open circle. If it has this line here for or equal to, then I'm going to close or darken in the circle. And then with the variable on the left, if it points left, it goes left. As long as the variable is on the left, it goes where it points. And so it's going that direction. I graphed it on a number line. Let's look at another example here. This is a U try. You could try here on your own, but I want to kind of work through it. If you want to pause and try your own, you can check your work. I want to get rid of, oh, that's wrong. My marks there. Oh. I want to multiply each side by 3 because this whole thing here is divided by 3. I'm going to multiply by 3. And so those cancel out. So on the one side, I'm left with just 12 and then negative r plus 1. On the other side here, I get negative 16 times 3 is negative 48. Now I'm going to divide by 12. Divide by 12. All right. I get negative r plus 1 is greater than negative 4. I minus 1 to both sides. I minus 1. Now I'm out of room to work, so I'm going to go up here. I get negative r is greater than negative 5. I have to make r positive, so I divide by negative 1. I get r is less than. I flip the signs. I divide it by a negative, and negative divided by negative makes it positive. And so now this one would be a number line with 5 in the middle. I want to make it an open circle because it doesn't have an or equal to, and it goes to the left. Last example. The recommended daily intake of calcium for teens is 1,300 milligrams. Jake gets 237 milligrams of calcium from a multivitamin. He takes each morning and 302 milligrams from each glass of skim milk he drinks. How many glasses of milk would he need to drink to meet the recommendation? A lot of words. Right? Is he allowed to have more than 1,300? Yes, if he wants to get the recommended, that's the recommended, but it's 1,300 at a minimum standard. So you're allowed to have more. He gets 237 plus 302 per each glass. So what's the one thing changing in here? The variable, the thing that changes is G, or the number of glasses of skim milk. And so I would say he gets 302 milligrams of calcium per glass plus the 237, all right, from the multivitamin, and that needs to be greater than or equal to, because it's okay, allowed to be more than, but not less than 1,300. And then I get 302 grams. Or 302 glasses. 302 milligrams per glass is greater than or equal to 1,063 after I subtract 237 over. I divide that by 302. All right, I get that he must drink greater than or equal to 3.519 glasses. And so how many glasses of skim milk must he have? The answer would be 4. He needs to drink at least 4 because that's more than 3.519. For your assignment today, try page A, 25 through 31. All please show work.